Little Women, the 1949 film, brings to life the classic story of the March sisters as they grow up during the Civil War era. This movie is a journey through their joys, struggles, and the strong bond they share. It's a tale that has touched many hearts, and there's more to it than meets the eye. From surprising behind-the-scenes stories to the impact it's had on viewers, there's a lot to uncover. One fascinating fact is that Elizabeth Taylor, who played Amy, wore a special corset to appear younger. Another is that June Allyson, portraying Jo, actually cut her hair for the role, which was quite a commitment at the time. While I don't have personal experiences, many people find inspiration in Jo's determination and creativity. Her character encourages us to follow our dreams, no matter the obstacles. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What's your most memorable experience with Little Women? Your stories and memories are what make this movie's legacy so special. Share them with us in the comments below. We can't wait to read them. The 1949 adaptation of Little Women, while capturing the essence of the March family's journey, presents a departure from the source material that may leave purists seeking more fidelity. Janet Leigh's portrayal of the married sister and Leon Ames as the patriarch feel underutilized with limited dialogue and screen presence. The Civil War backdrop, a pivotal element in the narrative, seems glossed over, particularly in the transition of Eyre's character. Rossano Brazzi's interpretation of the cultured professor who influences Jo's life feels mismatched in the context of the story. The film's deviation from Louisa May Alcott's novel is notable, especially in the alteration of Amy's position as the youngest March sister and the exclusion of key characters from significant scenes, such as the party where Amy and Beth are notably absent. This version also softens the novel's more serious themes, omitting its commentary on social issues like slavery, and the casting does not convincingly reflect the characters' ages. Despite these criticisms, the film has merits. The portrayal of Jo's ambition and the dynamics within the March family are well conveyed, albeit with some overprotectiveness displayed by Jo towards Meg in relation to John Brooke. The visual aspects, such as the costumes, although not always historically accurate, add to the film's charm, even if they seem to be constantly accompanied by hoops. In summary, while this rendition of Little Women has its moments, it may not fully satisfy those familiar with the original text. For a more authentic experience, one might consider viewing the 1994 film, which is often praised for its closer adherence to the novel and more convincing performances. In his first appearance on the big screen, Richard Stapley took on the role of John Brooke, marking a significant step in his acting career. The film, initially envisioned by David O. Selznick with a star-studded cast including Dorothy McGuire, Shirley Temple, Jennifer Jones, and Rhonda Fleming, eventually found its home with MGM. A notable behind-the-scenes fact about the film's production is the use of cornflakes and ground ice to create the illusion of snow, showcasing the ingenuity of practical effects during that era. In a notable event of 1949, a classic tale was brought to radio listeners by the Screen Guild Theater, featuring original cast members from the film. This adaptation aired just before Christmas, bringing the story's warmth to homes across the nation. The film made its television debut in 1957, starting in Seattle, and subsequently broadcasted in major cities across the United States. Despite the era's limited color broadcasting capabilities, the film was shown in black and white, with the original Technicolor version becoming available to viewers years later. Additionally, this film marked the first appearance of Rosalee Calvert in cinema. In her first appearance on screen, Melinda Casey took her initial steps in the acting world. The film also served as the first English-language feature for Rossano Brazzi, taking on the role of Professor Bhaer. A unique continuity link between this production and its predecessor from 1933 is Olin Howland, who reprised his role as Mr. Davis, the school teacher. Notably, he wore the same costume and used a slate with identical writing and a caricature which humorously depicted him with an exaggerated nose and the phrase, "Young ladies, my eyes are upon you." Adapting a classic novel for the silver screen often involves creative changes, and this adaptation was no exception. Casting decisions led to a switch in the ages of the March sisters, with Margaret O'Brien taking on the role of the younger sister, Beth. The film's journey to production was a winding one, initially conceived as a collaboration between Selznick International, Jennifer Jones, Shirley Temple, and Charles Coburn. However, as interest from the original producer waned, the rights were transferred to MGM, allowing the project to find new life. During filming, June Allyson, portraying Jo, demonstrated professionalism when an accident occurred. Despite being struck by ice skate blades during an energetic scene, she pressed on, ensuring the take was completed. These behind-the-scenes stories contribute to the rich history of the film's making. The camaraderie among the cast members, with June Allyson, Margaret O'Brien, Elizabeth Taylor, and Janet Leigh forming a close-knit group, was evident off-screen, mirroring the sisterhood they portrayed. Despite the age difference, Allyson connected well with her younger co-stars, creating a bond that went beyond their roles. Margaret O'Brien's performance was later recognized with a Living Legacy Award by the Women's International Center in 1996. Additionally, the film brought together Mary Astor, O'Brien, Leon Ames, and Harry Davenport, rekindling the chemistry they shared in a previous classic from 1944. Their reunion added a layer of familiarity and continuity for audiences who appreciated their earlier work together. Following the completion of her role in a notable film of the late 1940s, Mary Astor chose not to continue her association with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, feeling the repetitive nature of her roles had become uninspiring. The film itself enjoyed considerable success, securing a place among the top box office attractions of its release year. Its cast was distinguished by the presence of 2 Academy Award recipients, Elizabeth Taylor and Mary Astor, as well as nominees Janet Leigh and Lucile Watson, contributing to the film's acclaim and popularity. Marking a significant moment in cinematic history, this film not only served as the final appearance of Sir C. Aubrey Smith, but also coincided with a personal milestone for June Allyson, who was experiencing the joys of both biological and adoptive motherhood during production. The studio, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, selected this particular film to kick off its silver anniversary celebrations, highlighting its importance in their legacy. June Allyson held this film in high regard, counting it among her top 3 personal favorites. In a notable scene, Laurie confides in Joe about his ailment, referred to as the quinsy, a serious complication arising from tonsillitis that can extend the infection to the throat and potentially the chest. Peter Lawford, who shared the screen with Elizabeth Taylor in consecutive movies, including this one, later received a role in Taylor's TV movie Malice in Wonderland. Unfortunately, due to a decline in his health, he was unable to participate in the production. In the classic film's trailer, the voices of Peter Lawford and Janet Leigh serve as narrators, guiding viewers through the scenes. During the production, June Allyson was expecting her child, Dick Powell Jr., adding a layer of real-life anticipation to her role. Interestingly, Joan Bennett, who previously portrayed Amy March in an earlier adaptation, would later share the screen with Elizabeth Taylor in subsequent family comedies, creating a link between different generations of this beloved story.